Hey, so today got John Dodson on the podcast, and it's great to talk to him. Brand new family member in his life, big excitement, moving in weight, and I've known John a long time and love him very much, and it's a real privilege to be able to speak with him. Glad he made time. I just flew in and went right to his house. So hope you enjoyed the podcast. I want to shout out to my sponsors, as always, Concrete Cowboy Dallas, Concrete Cowboy Austin, Dan Work running that, Rico the Savage, man, Rico Taylor running in Dallas, and soon to be open in Houston. So if you're out there, you want the best place to party, man, Concrete Cowboy, just Google that. Bloody Maria also, mybloodymaria.com. Grown and produced on the same farm. Everything that I ever put out there, man, I only want it to be highly sustainable and kindly produced and shipped. And so all of it's all natural, non-GMO, gluten-free. The best Bloody Maria mix I've ever tasted, man. It's all made with green chili as the spice, which is an indigenous chili only in the Rio Grande Valley. Very authentic to New Mexico, and it's great for cooking, for tacos, for micheladas, red beer, whatever you want. Nice spicy aftertaste, not too much of a bite, but pretty goddamn good. And ship cases naturally. You can find us all over in Costco's and all that throughout New Mexico and Arizona, and soon to be national brand. NuevoCerveza.com is a little microbrew that my friend Marcos Aragon and Melissa and I do, and it's brewed in Santa Fe at Santa Fe Brewing Company. Light, smooth Mexican-style beer, pairs great. Everybody tells me you can drink it all day and just eat all day, and it's not a thick, fill-you-up kind of beer, but we're regionally expanding and be available with more info on the website at NuevoCerveza.com. And Caveman Coffee, also, of course, cavemancoffee.com. Myself, Lacey, and Keith put a lot into that and putting it out there. Exciting things happening. We got stores popping up in Chicago, New York City. We got a new one coming. We'll have one in Brooklyn soon. You know, Atlanta, Liz down in Atlanta is killing it at the training room. If you're looking for a great gym and a full contact cafe, we got all that cracking. Santa Fe, New Mexico, of course, is the first ever Caveman Coffee Cave. All, you know, if you know me, you know about it all, and it's all grown, sustainably raised, picked, hand-picked, cold processed, all the highest levels of care that are taken in this coffee. And we got nitro cans that are out that are shipping nationally. We've got there's some brand new stuff coming up. You really got to check the website, but we've got some sweet energy drinks that are like pre-workouts. I always just slam the coffee for my pre-workouts, but anyway, a lot of good stuff coming up. Also, the float clinic down in Torrance. I always want to shout those guys out. They're beautiful, and if you ever want a float experience, man, it's my favorite place to go. Just real kind, clean, and it's just like you're at home. You're in your own little bubble down there, and I always walk out a little different. So thank you. Thank Onnit.com. And that's it. We'll get you right into this podcast. And always I want to thank 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and Jackson Winklejohns. Really appreciate the heritage and the lineage that's there. So without any further ado, here we go. Here's John Dodson.
A big Tait Fletcher.
Powerful Tait Fletcher.
Is a real alpha male.
Weightlifter.
He's a stuntman.
Movie star.
Robust, enthusiastic individual.
He's huge, by the way. He's like a monster person.
One of the sweetest guys I know.
He's bigger than life.
Actor.
Entrepreneur.
A fighter.
The jiu-jitsu technician.
He's also bald and he has all these tattoos. He's just a big fucking man.
A man, a myth, a legend.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
What's up, Tait Fletcher, you fat motherfucker?
Tait Fletcher. Tait Fletcher is
Tait Fletcher.
Teddy Bear motherfucking Fletcher, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Tait Fletcher, everybody.
The great Tait Fletcher. Tait the animal Fletcher. Tait the savage Fletcher. Always moving. There's no stillness with Tait Fletcher. You will find no dust.
Tait Fletcher's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He just said the word erection.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher's in the fucking house. Tait Fletcher!
Tait really blasts out some serious hardcore truth bombs, and I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Hey, so this is Tait Fletcher, and welcome to Pirate Life Podcast. Just landed in Albuquerque. It's different than LA. They have rain here, and we don't have that there. And I just got the pleasure of being with my friend John Dodson. I hadn't seen in a while, and agreed to come on and chat with us today. And so here we are. We just had a little dinner and getting into it.
Tait, you seem so like as if you are. You're staring at me like you lost your words right now. I don't understand. The man with so many words and so much to talk about. I left you speechless right now. I know.
We're just talking about that show Kingdom. Our friend Joe Stevenson is working on it a bunch and running a bunch of it. And I was on a show last night where the makeup guy did that too. And he says, he looks and he goes, "Oh, you're a wrestler or a fighter or something?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, we're making a lot of ears like that for this show, whatever it's called." I just
Kingdom,
said,
yeah,
Kingdom, and I'm like, just let them get them for real.
Yeah,
like, why not? Somebody's like, "Oh, are you gonna ever fix that?" I'm like, and become less of a man. I don't.
This
think
is like
so.
my badge of glory right here.
Thank you.
This means I actually went to war.
Yeah. So you and I, I think the first time I was thinking on the way here, the first time we met was at a Grappler's Quest, I think, and I saw you breakdancing in the middle, like in between matches or something like that.
Yeah.
And then backflips and all that.
I was very athletic back then. Oh,
come on.
I'm still athletic now. I was like, when me and you met, we were at Grappler's Quest out in Vegas, and I was bored. Like, I was the only one that was a kid, so I was like, well, I guess I can go down there and do this.
So cool.
That's
always
my dance.
Always
right
entertaining.
There. Of course. So I want to sit there and put smile on people's faces as much as possible.
Because everybody else gets all nervous. There's all this, angst and everything. It's the worst bathroom setting you can go into at a wrestling meet or a jiu-jitsu tournament or something. It's awful in there. Everybody's got nervous guts.
Yeah.
And you just brought such a calmness to it. It's always nice to have you around. Like, you're one of the guys I always look to. Like a lot of times if I'm suffering in a workout, I'll just start smiling. And I always think about you, man, always. And it was just from wrestling with you. And no matter what, there's never a stopper. It's a relentlessness. It's like, if you stop a John Dodson shot, that drill's not over yet. Like, you really need to stop him, put him on his back. Like, there needs to be some time of control there, or else it's not done yet. And that never quit attitude. And then always, no matter what, when I just remember looking over at you one day and I'm like, that guy is just always happy. He's just always smiling no matter what. And I just thought, that's the trick, is that you're going to suffer. Suffering's great. And just like it. Decide to like it, and fall in love with that. And I got to say thank you for that. And I tell people that story all the time. I'm like, well, there's this guy I got lucky enough to know, man. And he changed the way I thought about hardships. It's really true, man. It's amazing how many people you color, like, just by the way you carry yourself, which is tremendous. And it's interesting knowing you like I do, and then people seeing you in the UFC and all this stuff. And I look back to that, and people, I think everybody looks at guys like, and a lot of people look at me and they're like, well, it's easy for you, or it's this, or it's that, or it's whatever. And it's kind of, I talked to Shab last week, and he was like, it's belittling when people, it doesn't take into account everything that's brought you to where you are in a way, right? And to recap that, like, the thing that's always so fascinating to me is that there's always room for big guys in combat sports. But for smaller weight classes, they didn't even exist. And you're still one of the hardest training guys ever in the room. And
the lowest weight class was what, 155? And then had Diego being on the other end of it.
Yeah. That's it. And then you're there. But, and then you met Chris, right? Your history was,
I met Chris Luttrell from Chuck E. Cheese.
So Coach Luttrell comes in because you're working at Chuck E. Cheese. And then he's like, hey, I've got this thing that you might like to do. And so you come down, and then that was it.
Yeah, I came down, and that was like one of those things that I had to make a hit list for, because I was so...
What do you mean a hit list?
Everyone kept on tapping me out, and I was so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because I was such a phenomenal wrestler, and I was like, yeah, I can just do this and do that, and everyone was shooting
phenomenal.
on me.
Like, by phenomenal, it's like people like that don't know, that just watch you on fights. Like, phenomenal in the way that, like, you can see guys and they wrestle guys the same size and they think, oh yeah, he's a decent wrestler or whatever. Like, that's what they say a lot of times. So he's a decent wrestler. I watch you. I remember there's a guy. I don't know if we called him Colossus or what, but there's a dude. He must have been 300 pounds of muscle, and you picked him up over your head. Like, I think you had a high crotch and picked him up and then walked him all the way around everywhere. And he was like a super highly aggressive dude that was just. And I was like, yeah, so a phenomenal wrestler, like a phenomenal wrestler.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. But, then guys would get to your back sometimes or whatever.
Well,
or your feet.
Yeah, it was Brent
And
Gibbs.
Or Brent
Yeah, it was Brent Gibbs who.
guillotined you.
No, he actually kept on giving me nothing but ankle locks.
Really?
Day in and day out. And I used to get so pissed. Because I would always wear wrestling shoes. And he's like, "How you gave me something to grab?" And I was like, "You little nerdy bastard. I'm going to beat you up now."
He was a super
was just
nerd, man.
on it.
Brent is a great old training partner that has since passed, but he's a guy that definitely his legend ripples on and
Yeah, he's never
again
forgotten.
touched. I think that's where our immortality is in that. Like he did a lot of good and spread a lot of goodness to people for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But a super video game nerd, just good at joint locks and playing video games. Like he would Halo the heck out of you.
Yeah, he was a weird, most socially awkward person that you ever tried talking to.
You couldn't imagine with a girl,
Yeah.
or something like what that would look like. I'd be like that would look horrible.
You couldn't actually see him with a normal lunch. He's
No.
he's the dude that you actually think hides in his mom's basement playing video games and
Yeah.
playing World of Warcraft, and yet he did do this. And then it makes me second guess anybody I talk crap to ever in my entire
So
life.
true, right? You don't know who anybody is. He was
Nah.
a killer. So anyway, so then he was on top of your hit list, huh?
Oh, he was number one. Diego was two.
Yeah.
Because Diego treated me like I was his weight class.
Yeah.
He was like, he just won the title for King of the Cage at 170, and he just
But to
destroyed
be fair, Diego would treat me like he was his weight class too. He would treat everybody like that. He was just highly aggressive and dominating.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I always say that about Diego. I'm like, you could ask a lot of guys. They're like, what's his strong suit or whatever? Because he's legendary. He's one of the longest running guys. I mean, he and Frank Mir, like as far
Yeah.
as UFC careers, right? They're the longest guys that have been around. And I was like, well, he believes in himself. I think his biggest skill is that he believes the brakes off himself. Like there's nobody that believes more. And then there's guys, I don't care if you ask guys that everybody's like, that's pound for pound the best guy in the world. You ask George or Johnny Bones or anybody and who's the best in the world, they would pick somebody. They would be like, well, I think this guy is, or this guy, we haven't seen his best yet, or whatever. Yes, Diego would say Diego Sanchez is the best pound for pound guy in the world, and his belief in that, and he's not playing. And I mean, that's another guy, man. I feel lucky, man. You feel lucky. All these people we get to meet, people are like, how'd you get into fighting? I go, lucky circumstances, and they look at me like I'm crazy, like. So you got punched in the face a bunch and you feel like that was lucky and like best thing that happened in my life, but it's not, you're not looking at it right.
Yeah. Like they see the whole brutality of the sport and they're like, oh man, you guys are so barbaric. You guys want to just beat up each other. But the people that we've met and got the brotherhood that we actually had and all that.
Yeah.
Like we didn't just go out there and fight people. We actually sat there and cheered on people that we bled and slept, like sweat and shed tears
Just
with.
because your fight's over doesn't mean the night's over or the week's over or the month's over. It's like, yeah, I went last weekend, but Keith's got to go next week, so he needs people to move with. Like that's the number one thing for me is for sure the fellowship, that kind of brotherhood that was there, that camaraderie that is. I don't know if it's still there even, but because it's so. Well, to go back to what my original question was going to be, so you're out there, and in the big show, I mean, in King of the Cage and stuff, there were some lighter weight fights, but like to really go, we're gonna, I want to shoot for the Super Bowl, which was the UFC, is the mixed martial arts, right? And what kept your drive in all that time? I mean, it was similar, those lightweight classes, especially like when you're talking about like 125, 130. We weren't going to see a 145, is what it seemed like. It would be akin to like the girls when Dana is vehemently going, we'll never have women fight in the octagon. That was not 6 months he's saying that before Ronda came on the scene,
What I kept on thinking, my drive was solely that I was going to go up in weight class. I kept on fighting at 155 until they started realizing that the way I can actually pick a different weight class. I was like, no, I'm going to go to either UFC, and if the 155 is going to be the only weight class they have, I'll do it. And as soon as they got rid of 155, I was like, Coach, I'll go to 170. I'll fight all those dudes. Like, I had that type of belief in myself, the same like how Diego did.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm going to make it. One of these days, I'm going to sit there and make it to our Olympics and just win gold.
That's amazing. So you knew, so all the time it wasn't a question for you.
No.
You were never like, oh, I can't go anywhere with this because.
No, because I believed I was going to be the best in the world, and here I am today as being one of the best in the world.
That's like BJ Penn when he came back. I remember I was sitting in the stadium when, and it was the whole place goes black, and then the music, and the lights come up, and he's on a walkway like a catwalk to come down, and he's just got a shirt on. It just says the champ is here. It's just a plain white T-shirt, and everybody went nuts. But his announcement and his belief was, I'm going to win the belt at 145, at 155, at 170, at 185. He's like, he's going to have a belt in every weight class, right up there. And you couldn't tell him that wasn't going to happen. Like it's a different kind of athlete. It's a different athlete than I was, for sure. Like that kind of strength in yourself, like that is I garnered so much from you, because I was like, I'll just work hard. I'll just outwork the other guy. There's guys that are going to be better than me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to outwork them. Like Coach would talk about, just get another guy uncomfortable and grind them out. And I can do that. Like that'll be my thing. Or I'll be able to I'll finish guys here. But like there was guys that segued and moved, and I think also the talent that we were around, you're still around, is so great that it's easy to have bad days because you're around the top shelf guys in the universe.
Yeah, it's easy to have a bad day, because then as soon as you have that one bad day, it feels like a bad week, and it just carries on. But you don't realize how good you are until you actually step inside the octagon with those other people, and then you see how far better you are compared to the other competition.
How do you think you are compared to like your training self and when you're under the lights on game day?
Shoot, my training self is way better than what it is underneath the lights.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in the gym, I got those top level guys, and I know that I have to keep my game up there, and I don't know the real competition is.
Right.
And then I get in the octagon, and I don't see myself as that same person. I'm thinking being more methodical, trying to preserve a job instead of doing it for the reasons
it
I
becomes
got.
Trying to win the rounds as opposed to getting it in a way. Yeah.
Like in the gym, it's just you get new fresh guys every day, and you're like every round it's like person after person after person. You're like, I got to beat this person this round. And
it's important. Those gym wars are important too, I think, because if it's a guy that you tax every time you go against, if he gets that upper hand on you, that can change the whole gym dynamic for you. And that's your home where you're training. So you're defending your spot kind of every time you're in one of those at the gym.
Well, it's very animalistic of us. So we're sitting there trying to make sure that we are preserving dominance.
Sure.
I don't want to be that lion that's sitting on top of the leader of the pack and then being knocked off by some young cub.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sit there and continue to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're a brand. You just had a little baby. We just saw in the other room, trying to be quiet.
No, she's a sweetheart. She'll let you know whenever she is very upset at you, very hungry, wants to be held, or wants to watch TV. She loves watching anime with me all the time.
She's less than 2 months.
Yeah, she's
2 months.
about around 2 months. She's like 7 weeks right now.
Because your last fight, she was born during press week, right?
Yes.
Crazy. And then you left, came back to Albuquerque, and then went back.
Yep. I flew in. I literally left that Sunday, came back that Monday for the birth of the little girl. So it was kind of awesome.
That's amazing, man. Was it extra nerves? Like, how did that change your week? Or was it back to business when you got back to Vegas and you were...
Actually, I was more nervous knowing that my girlfriend was pregnant, and the fact that she was going to be going out there, she was going to fly, or she was going to drive. What if she had the baby on the plane or on the road? I was just freaking out. And then as soon as Delilah was born, like all that weight had lifted off my shoulders. And I was like, I was like,
everything's good now.
Oh, yeah. I was like, Chelsea, I'm ready to go win this title. She was good. I'll be out there. I'll see you on Saturday. I was like, cool. I'll see you then.
She came out.
Yeah, she came up on Saturday.
What a soldier.
And then came right and flew out with me on Sunday.
God. Rad. And how'd you feel in the fight? You feel good? You feel dialed in?
I felt dialed in, but I still was not the man that I should have been. Like, I watched opportunities that I kept on seeing present itself, but I didn't follow up with it.
Is that
I was just not pulling the trigger to fire, and it was kind of upsetting to myself, because I even went back and watched the fight, and I saw my missed opportunities yet again, and I just wasn't firing all cylinders.
What caused that for you? Overthinking it, of trying to be careful and win the round, or is it something else? Is it just like thinking I'll have more time than I have?
For me, I thought I had more time than I had, and I thought I was going to get those same... I treated this fight as if like it was the last one, that he's going to be the same type of aggressor.
For sure.
And I was going to land these big shots and put him down like how I did in the first time. And these opportunities didn't present itself, and I didn't sit there and secure it. Like, I didn't go out there and hunt for it. Like, I was trying to be like, I can just be laid back and just wait for him to do this, and I can counter that.
It's a fine line, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just listening to that John Wayne Parr, and he was talking about it, like trying to knock a guy out never being able to knock him out, and then you're tired, you're frustrated. I missed that, like, and then when you're looser, like, there's that subtle balance there of like who shows up to fight day.
Yeah. And I definitely didn't show up to fight day, and I give my hat off to Demetrius Johnson. He came out prepared, willing to go 5 rounds,
right,
and just try to put that pressure on me. I did stop a lot of his takedowns. I did drop him one time in the 3rd round, but it was like the last 5 seconds.
Right.
It was nothing that I should have been thinking. I should be on the kill and on the hunt and start looking for this gold. And instead, I was just kind of just in relaxed mode and just kind of lackadaisical. And I didn't know how to get out of that little rut.
Will you train differently the next time for that? Like, and what I mean is like put that kind of ferocity into every training session and do like a meditation beforehand or something like as far as putting yourself in a different mind state before you go in to the cage the next time.
I just got to remember who I am.
Yeah.
I got to remember I'm that killer type of dude who always loves to smile and go out there and be a champion.
Yeah.
I'm already a champion. I should have just kept on going through with it and just have a little piece of metal around my waist to show the world.
Yeah. Cool. You what are your plans with all that? I've heard all kinds of rumors about stuff.
Oh yeah, the rumor is that I'm going up to 135, which is true.
Okay.
Like it's starting to get harder for me to get. I know it's kind of weird
as you get older.
I know this whole old age thing's getting.
I know. I just saw Joey had a birthday, and I was like, "Damn, yeah,
yeah." Though I'm piling on more of the weight, so I'm getting heavier these days.
Well, you don't snap. The fact is as you age, you don't even late 20s, early 30s, you don't snap back from the weight cuts as much. You're not the same athlete you were when you're making that cut at 24 years old. Your endurance is different. Everything becomes different.
Yeah. So definitely, it's putting more strain on my body. Like it's not recovering as fast as it should have been, and like I was a lot slower for this time around because I made the 125 easily, but recovering was a lot harder and it took a lot out of me. Like I was trying to sleep more, trying to eat the right things, and it wasn't balancing out right.
What do you think with the new Nowitzki thing and the drug testing and like the no bags to rehydrate and all that kind of stuff?
See, the no IV thing, that's the reason why I have to move up.
I was wondering if that was a direct result of that.
Yeah, because like I'm pretty heavy. I like walk around maybe about 156, 160. Like it's a huge cut when you're talking about body mass and that's
like
a third
what
of my
percentage
body right
of that
there.
is. Yeah, that's tremendous.
And it's hard and it's frustrating for me to constantly think that that's what I have to do, and then the easiest way for me to rehydrate to get back up to my walking around weight.
Well, and to be healthy,
harder. Yeah.
I mean, when they talk about damage and all that kind of stuff, they're talking about a dehydrated brain.
Yeah.
And it's always the little tiny boxers that have cut a tremendous amount of weight to get there that are when you see deaths in boxing, it's never heavyweights.
Yeah,
it just isn't. And those guys are hitting hard. So not that little guys aren't, but it's like they talk about that brain dehydrates, and that's the one thing that when they came out with the drug testing that added onto it, I was like, God, that seems like it's worse for athletes. It seems like it's maybe you're asking guys to be in a more dangerous place.
No, they're actually trying to. Well, they're not actually trying to make us in a more dangerous place, because if that was the case, if going to cut down so much weight was the part that was making us dangerous.
Sure.
So now if we're fighting that closer to our natural weight, we need to have more chance of keeping that rehydration, and our brain fluids will be more active.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about being around your natural weight and moving with the abilities of that weight too. Everybody thought like I remember when they were talking about George fighting Anderson. They're like, oh, it's going to be a super fight. And I'm like, that's going to be a big guy beating up a little guy.
Yeah.
Like George is maybe the best guy at transitions in the world there that ever was or whatever, like moves flawlessly. But Anderson is a great big human.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a guy, that's just not fair. And they're like, oh, well, he could put the weight on. I'm like, that's not accessible weight. Just because you're heavier doesn't make it better. That would mean his timing is off. That'll mean he's slower. But like you're talking about at your natural weight, like that to me, that seems like a smart move. That seems like the really like your best fights will come there. And also, I always wonder about there's always the guys that are just mothers in the room that are just and that never can put it together under the lights. And there's that kind of fighter, and then there's like Clay, who's like you don't think that he looks like like a killer that he is in the room, and then under the lights, nobody fights better than him. Like that guy's tremendous.
He does better underneath the lights than anybody I've
Than
ever
anybody,
met.
right? And so that, but most guys like, like talking to Keith too is like that where he's like, man, I just wish that I could have showed, my best training fights on game day, and I'm like, there's some guys that have done that. John Jones, I believe, has. Clay Guida has. Like, there's guys that are outliers that have done that kind of stuff. And then I think for most of the rest of us, it's like, it's a lot to put together for that,
Yeah.
Like even Cowboy, I don't think the Cage has seen the best of Cowboy.
Oh no,
You know
I've
what I
seen
mean?
Cowboy
Like
just
that guy is
destroy people.
a dismembering dude. Like he just disassembles people. Yeah, it's a trip, man. It's a trip, all that goes into it. That's the interesting part of fighting for me. It's not really the knuckles so much. It's all the mental stuff that goes into that, and that's woven into it. It's wild. How you like the Reebok deal?
I like it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are sitting there knocking on it, but like I look at it as if it's a beta for a video game. Like the betas aren't really going to be that.
They're not great.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Right.
Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, well, there's this flaw, there's this error, and then this doesn't work, and I wish they would fix this. And that's what the whole thing for the Reebok is. Like, so many people were like so up in arms about it, but if they gave it a shot and got used to it and got to kind of adjusted to it and then gave them their input, instead of bitching about it online all the time, instead of complaining about so much about how much they hate it, well, then talk about it.
You know what they should have done, though, probably, if they would have, to take away a lot of the negative feedback, let the beta group be the tough house. Or something, and then like have the women wear those uniforms. Are those good for all different body types of women, or are those really the designs we want to use that my grandma put together? You know what I mean? It's like make those kits look cool.
Yeah,
and
they
give
messed up
guys an
already by
incentive.
sitting there probably telling everybody that those like the women's fight kits weren't like error proof. And then they had a couple of wardrobe malfunctions, and they're like, and everybody's so quick to spot them out really fast.
Sure. It's tough. You're under scrutiny. It's going to be harder out there for women, I would think. I'd hate that if I was a woman. I was scared about my titty popping out or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That'd probably be on my mind. You think crazy stuff in there under fire. So are you excited? Does it matter to you? Another day going up in weight?
No, it's just another day, and I'm more excited because there's a gentleman up there who continuously thinks that I can never knock him out again. So, TJ, we're already looking at the Ultimate Fighter trophy that I have because I already won that over you. I can go ahead and secure another victory and take another belt away from you.
That is badass. That's awesome. And tomorrow, I know you'll be down, and I'm glad I get lucky enough to go down to the gym has moved again. The famed, world famous Jackson Winklejohn gym is in a new spot again, and just opened up. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we moved into a bigger facility where more people who want to come in and learn mixed martial arts and be a part of a bigger team and seeing what we're supposed to be. Like this is the gym that we should have had when when we were grinding hard.
Is there a separation with like the
between heavyweights and lightweights, or
no
the newcomers
between pros and like newcomers, and is there like a not like a hazing period but is there like guys have to go through some kind of crucible or something to be able to go and or can you just pop into pro class? Or
see, there's a bunch of guys that are popping into pro classes that are just coming fresh off the boat.
Yeah,
and they're just hopping in, and I can't blame them for if
you don't know better, you don't know better. Because
I did that. I jumped in straight into I jumped into the deep end, and I had a bunch of sharks swarming me.
Sure.
And that's what needs to happen to these guys as well. But to be considered part of a team, you have to actually swim back to land.
Yeah.
And most of these guys are just dying in the waters. They're just getting devoured by all these sharks, and they want to quit, and they just give up.
Yeah.
So,
which is a self-leveling process. I guess that needs to happen too. If you want it, you'll stick around.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing was back in the day, for sure, either you're a good wrestler, you're a good submission guy, or you're a good kickboxer.
Or you're just tough as nails.
And maybe. But like, if you don't have that, like, and you don't stick it out, you don't have that toughness to just stick it out. Like the first day in, if you're a good striker and it's wrestling day, you're gonna get beat up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be horrible. And nobody's gonna care. Like that's just how it is. But then it gets to striking day, and like you're a really good wrestler, and then you're like, oh,
he's a good striker, and there's something here to offer. He's not just some guy that's coming in telling everybody that he's this or that or what, and like that's kind of the way of it, But like, to come in fresh and just be like, I'm going to learn all of these skills. Like you kind of have to come in with some background, man. Is that still as true as ever, or has now MMA gotten so big to where there's a lot of schools that say we teach MMA? Like guys used to ask me, like, "Where's a good school to learn MMA?" I'm like, I don't really know what that is. I mean, I know what you think it is, but like, if you're not great at something coming in, like, then maybe get a real interest in something, like, because you're interested. It sounds like in being on TV or something, and that's not really what it is, and that won't last. That's got no legs.
Well, actually, this day and age, they should be like thinking about more of mixed martial arts gyms, because that should be the system of it. Because mixed martial arts is definitely its own category. Because if you're good at boxing or good at wrestling, then they have hard transitions going in from both of them.
But my point is that like you don't even know if you like competing. There's guys that don't want to do grappling tournaments. You know what I mean? There's guys that don't like. So if you don't even know who you are, and you're going to come in here, I'm a fighter. Like, how about we do 100 wrestling tournaments and see if you are. You know what I mean? See if you even like it, because that's pressure in itself.
Well, so you got those other dudes who don't like fighting at all, like Mark Thompson. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
He didn't like to fight at all, but he loved the fact that he can just learn. Yeah. Like he wanted to go out there for grappling tournaments and compete it, but he was more into like, I just want to just learn. I prefer doing this any day of the week.
There's a ton. I mean, most of the guys are hobbyists like that. They just want to come in, hang out, do that thing, and some of those guys are great.
Or you got Crazy Steve.
And there's Crazy Steve. He still drive a van, creepy van with no windows.
Yeah, this time he got a newer white van, still no windows.
This guy, I wish I had a picture I could show people. Like, he is a trip, and he's a guy. He'll groin strike you. He'll do whatever he can, and you should have been ready. Like he's unapologetic about it. He'll come in with swords, for real,
and he will let you know that it was your fault that you got attacked.
Yeah,
like. You could be on the opposite end of the room, and he'll just jump at you and shoot you with a BB gun or something, and be like, "Well, you should have been ready for what? I'm training."
And he's a frail-looking dude too. He's not like that. But I come in, there's little BBs all over the mats. I'm like, and there's little. He's a trip. God bless him, man. That guy's he adds flavor, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely adds some character on something on a whole different level.
Yeah. You and Jody, you went this year too to Korea, huh?
Yeah.
So Jody and is Jody? She's a Invicta fighter. She's maybe gonna come up to the UFC. Do we know, or is she looking for another fight in Invicta first, or another boxing match?
I think she's taking another fight in Invicta, and she's gonna go out there and do whatever she wants to do. But I know the fight's gonna be at 115, and she's gonna be that bigger part. So she wants to make it her way into that UFC.
Cool, man. It's a hard thing. I think the women still, because there's so.
Because there's only two weight
few
classes.
Competitors. There's so and so like how active can you be? To be active is such a huge element in this sport, and like to not be active for long periods of time. So it means what she does, picks up boxing matches and does all that. Was that a great trip when you guys went to Korea?
It was cool because it was cool to see a bunch of other things that were out there. Like the thing that got me the most is I thought Koreans were supposed to be like Japanese people and be really nice and steal stuff, but they stole my camera. Like they were like super rude to us every time we were trying to use. Really? It was me, her, Sean Jordan, and we all went out there and we were looking for a sauna, and we couldn't find. And like every time we'd ask for one, they'd be like, "No, you can't use this."
And what's the weather like? What's the temperature there?
It was chilly there because it was cold. Like it wasn't like
because it'll snow in Korea and stuff too, like at certain times of the year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean it gets really cold. I understood, but then really hot too. It's like
It was just random because it was so weird. Like we were trying to find all these different places. We ended up working outside in the garage, and there's not even like a garage. We went outside in the parking lot so she can hit mitts. So I was holding mitts, and Big Ol' Sean was like shivering in the corner. And he was like, "Yeah, you guys are doing great." I was like, "Do you want to get a jacket?" He's like, "No, I'm fine." I was like, "All right, man, that's cool."
Right.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
And then when we got to the event, they literally got us there, and by the time we had stepped out of the event, we had to wrap our hands, and then she had to go out to the ring. They didn't give us no time to warm up, no nothing.
So they really do whatever they can to make you lose.
Oh, 100%. And the thing too is, Jody actually was dusting this girl. I had her winning. sixth round of 4. 4 rounds that she lost was because, well, she wasn't paying attention and she was taking her time to warm up.
Right.
But she ate that girl up for the rest of the time. When she got warm and she was on fire, she was hitting her with these back uppercuts and hooks and straight jabs and overhands, and she was just moving well. She put this girl against the ropes and just kept on teeing off on her, and I didn't see how she could lose this fight. And then they only gave her like 1 round or something, and I was like, something ridiculous. I was like, there's no way she should be a world champion right now.
Right. And there's tape of that fight too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's tape of it, but I think it's all in Korean though.
Huh.
Oh, granted, we were in Korea.
Of course. Though. Yeah. But video of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Keith was telling me he saw it. Do you know who you fight next or when?
I don't know who I'm going to fight, but I'm looking for a fight sometime in January or February-ish. I just want to beat up somebody so I can go ahead and start making that march towards my ultimate goal is to have a title. So
yeah,
I'm gonna make that next step so I can go beat up somebody in the top 10. I don't care who I want to fight,
and that will be for sure at 135.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. Man, that's exciting. It opens up so many new possibilities, you know?
Oh, of course.
What do you think of the speed factor? Are guys at 135, is it negligible, or do you notice a huge difference in performance in the way guys move at one to the other in that lighter weight class?
Actually, I do. I notice how much it's different on how fast they are to how strong they are. Like going from like 125, they're a lot faster. But then once you go up,
but you
just
can
10 more
bully
pounds,
them.
Yeah.
You're just bullying dudes because you're a powerhouse. Yeah.
But if I go up 10 more pounds, then it becomes strength for strength. Everybody wants to be like,
right.
It's a bunch of people with that mental midget stuff, midget toughness.
How do you avoid that?
What?
I mean, because you're a veritable midget.
What?
But
I'm 7 foot tall.
I understand. In a certain universe.
What universe? I'm talking about right now. I'm 7 feet tall.
How do you stay?
I can dunk basketball.
So really, I believe that. What? Remember when you jumped up on my shoulders? Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, somebody had that on video.
No way.
Yeah. So I saw it on Facebook. Someone had it on video, but he was talking, and then there's you standing in the background. And all of a sudden you see me run, jump, not even touch your shoulders, and do a backflip right off of it.
So
and
crazy.
They were like, yeah, did you guys see that in the background? I was like, holy cow. And they didn't even know that it was me.
All I remember, I just remember you coming up to me that day. We're at a grappling tournament where I think I was on the mats, and you go, hey, just stand there and stand still. And I turn around. No, turn around. I was like, okay, so just stand still. Think of the trust that is in somebody. I mean, really, that's like a trust fall. Just stand right here, stand still. And then, okay, and then everybody's quiet, and then I just hear feet, and then boom, just a little tap, and then I feel your toes go off, and then they're backflip. Amazing. Just feet up onto my shoulders. I'm 6'4". That's a good jump. That's a good jump. Do you know what's your vertical jump? Do you know?
I haven't checked. Last time I checked it was 42 inches.
You can jump up on that windowsill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. Like a spring.
That one's easy.
Totally.
I've been trying to get to my
to your height.
I can get close to. I can get to my shoulders.
Do you ever do any of that stuff out of the pool? Like jump out of the pool onto the edge of the pool? And
See,
all
I
that
tried
stuff?
that. I can't do that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how BJ was doing that.
I've seen a couple guys do it. To where, and guys that I'm like, if that dude's doing it, it can't be that hard.
That's what I said.
But I'm like, yeah.
Because I've seen some dudes and I was like, very questionable. I was like,
right.
I was like, I'm a better athlete than that guy for sure.
Right.
I can definitely do this. And I'm trying to jump out of it. And I'm like a little kid, just like in a little, like just trying to
trip.
As
There's
if I was trying to
something.
reach for a candy or something.
Yeah.
I was like,
there's something about getting very straight.
Yeah.
As you drive up, and then fast knees. But then also fast knees, but don't clip the edge of the pool with your like the whole thing.
No, I'm worried about catching my shins all the way down.
Yeah. Oh, to slide back down, yeah.
Because I haven't made it up.
You've done that on a box before?
No, I've never done that on a box. Like I've just hit it and flew over.
Would you do like parkour if you weren't fighting? Would you do like free running and stuff like that?
I like to do that on the side. I do that actually now. I'm
Are you afraid you do something like that, you hurt yourself?
No.
Because you're in padded rooms, you don't do it in the street?
No, I would do it in the street too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I would think that, I mean, because that's huge. Torsion and heights and movement and cement and steel coming at a fast rate against your flesh. You don't worry about that.
Nah, I'm more worried about crossing the street late at night and having a car hit me.
That's all you worry about.
That's more dangerous than
That's what I
anything
did
else.
for my job last night.
Getting hit by a car?
Yeah, well, it was a near miss. It was like I was there because it was a high potential to get hit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're just going to be here. And if it goes south, there's this old, it's like a 1942 car. It's what I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to go onto the hood. You don't care if the car gets messed up because I'm going to be on it instead of under it.
Yeah.
Yeah, trip. Crazy, yeah. I don't worry about crossing the street much.
Really?
I kind of pray for meteors, though, too, sometimes. I got to be honest.
Actually,
every time I get in a plane, I'm kind of like, if it goes down, I'm good. Whatever.
See, oh, you know who the best person to go on a plane with is our buddy Isaac.
Really?
Yeah, because he
likes to get nervous.
Oh, he's terrified of planes.
I think he's addicted to being nervous.
Yeah.
He craves nervousness and like indecision. He likes to be in that spot all the time. Yeah.
I should definitely be on the other side of the road. Why? Because there's a chicken there, and I got to cross the street before him.
That's that thing. That's like kid stuff where you're like, it's not the grass is greener. The grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
Take care of your grass, homie. You'll be good. Just take care of all that. All the people around you, everything. What do you get feeling like more of a sense of responsibility now that like going deeper into fatherhood and family obligations and all that, or is it just like same goal, same dude?
No, I just got like I got people to watch cartoons and eat candy with now.
That's awesome.
Like now I got some people.
What do you do for diet?
Candy.
You do, don't you?
Yeah.
I believe you.
Pizza. My girl like
that's like it's like they said
she loves me to death and she's like, babe, what do you want to eat? Pizza. All right.
Again.
We can go ahead and get that.
So you don't go for that paleo or any of that stuff?
No.
You're like, I don't know.
We eat healthy-ish sometimes.
That's all you eat tonight is super healthy.
Mm-hmm. We had tilapia, white rice, and some spinach.
Yeah.
Well, we do that occasionally, but other times it's like...
But it's pizza night.
Oh, pizza or some ice cream.
I love some ice cream. I'm so sugar sensitive, I don't eat any of that. That like if I'm feeling like sad or depressed or something, I'm like, I'm just going to sit up and have ice cream. And it puts me right to sleep. That sugar, that rush comes on. I use it like a drug, and then I'm out, and I go right to sleep. And I wake up feeling better than I ever felt.
Speaking about drugs and your cloud, put sugar in that category. Have you heard those commercials?
Which ones?
The one about them needing help for an addiction, and the addiction they need help with is sugar.
I haven't.
Dude, it's a real.
It's got to be on MTV, right? That's
no,
MTV
I heard it on
program.
the radio.
Really?
Yeah, and I was laughing so hard because I didn't think it was like serious.
It's like everything is addiction, they say. No.
Yeah.
And I'm like, or it's called being responsible to yourself. Be accountable for your actions. Like there's a lot of that too. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man. Like that Brent Schaub, he watches all that horrible TV, and that's the reason I was watching 16 and Pregnant. 3 of the people that were featured, their moms, they're talking to their moms that were in jail. And so they're telling their 15-year-old or 16-year-old about how it is. It was awesome. It was so full of awesome. It's hard to not feel great about stuff after that.
Yeah. Did you finish your food? No? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I'm trying to be on TV. What do you think? Are you going to go on to Kingdom? Have you talked to Joe?
I was supposed to try to get on Kingdom for this season, then I got that title fight.
Right.
So I was literally, like, Joe called me and goes, hey, you don't have any plans, right? I was like, no, I don't have anything planned. He's like, cool, I'm going to call you soon, but I don't know what day because we do all this fight stuff.
It's all different too. It flips around,
okay.
yeah.
And I was like, perfect. And he was like, you sure you don't have any plans? I was like, yeah. I was like, I heard.
Dude, you should go on that as you. They should have you as a character just go on there. They're fools not to. They really are. Like that whole thing, it's kind of like...
Because they had Damasio and Cub in there.
It's crazy. They should just do that. Yeah, here's a guy active right now. He's going for it makes it relevant. It makes it more of like, wow, am I watching reality or am I watching TV? Like, that's a cool twist. They totally should do that.
They should just...
And your personality. It's like, go and let you do you. It'd be tremendous. Who's got more flavor?
Nobody.
I mean, nobody.
I mean, how many other 7 foot tall hyper midgets you've ever seen in your life?
Very hyper. And Filanegro. That's the correct term, right?
No, Filiga is the correct term.
Filig.
Yeah.
I don't know if can white guys say that?
Yeah.
It's all right.
Because you can't say fill a nigga. Because that's weird.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you're really going to fill a nigga.
Ooh.
Like, hey man,
sounds like you're trying to get sexy with somebody.
Yeah. I see how you are.
And maybe, you don't know.
In your eyes, I'm Mexican.
That's what Jody was.
Filipino and black makes Mexican.
It's the same. It really is. I mean, if you're anywhere in the Southwest, California,
I came off of a boat.
Ari Shafir, he said it best. He's like, there's some guy in the stands one time, and he goes, he's just doing crowd work. Oh, where are you from? Ireland. Where are you from? Wherever. Where are you from? Oh, I'm a Pacific Islander. And he goes, I don't even know what that means, but I know what it means in California, and it means you're Mexican. He's like, if you're from, I don't care if you're Peruvian, that's Mexican. It's all the same. Ari gets away with that, though. I don't talk that way. I don't condone that kind of speech, of course.
Oh, no, you don't. Not at all. We're all equal opportunists here.
Have you found in your career, how long's your career been? 15 years now?
Yeah.
That you change from not knowing anything to going into like a different coaching style, or wanting like different guys in your corner, or that you have different needs at different fights, or?
Yes, I have gotten to that point to where I want to be like, I want to still be a team player, but I want to be Mayweather and be so selfish.
Right.
Like, I want to make sure the people I have around are there for me and dedicate their time and their efforts and are just solely dedicated to me.
Right.
Like I feel like I have a cult following for my fights, and I know that sounds bad.
Sure.
But
No.
I want these dudes to sit there and be like, "Oh, do you need me to wipe your butt? Do you need me to wipe your forehead? Do you need me to serve
Would
you
you
milk?"
ever have Steven Seagal come and corner you?
I mean, if he wanted to be a part of my like little
Your posse,
cult,
he'd
yeah.
be part of it,
I mean,
but he's not leading the show.
I mean, he's gonna tell everybody. I need him to stay in the stands and be like, "You see that move? I taught him to touch gloves. You see that smile? I perfected that smile.
That's a guy that's never smiled, maybe.
You see that wink? I did that.
See that backflip out of the single leg? Mm-hmm. That's a real. That'd be nice to see. I'd like to see more of that.
Backflips and single legs?
Yeah.
All right. I can definitely do that.
I think you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with these big guys.
Oh, of course. Because they're not going to know anything that's going to come at them if I'm throwing, like running at them just like a crazy man, and then also do a backflip into a double leg. They're like, how did you? I did that. Mm-hmm.
Just run the tape back. You can see it later.
When you're asking what happened, you'll figure it out later.
And what are you doing? You're Halloween tomorrow? You're going to be...
Oh, I'm going to be down until like the whole family's dressing up. So Chelsea's going to be Raphael. Little Delilah's going to be Michelangelo. Andres is going to
be on your Instagram?
Yeah.
Are you going to dress up in the morning or no? You're going to go...
See, I don't know, because we are planning on going to...
There'll be all tons of press there and everything.
I don't mind that. Like, everyone already knows I like walking around my PJs. So this isn't going to be any different. It's Halloween. It's a reason I get to dress up.
It's an actual reason.
Yeah. But we have a birthday... So we got the press stuff. Then we have a birthday party to go to, and then we have trick-or-treating. So it's all exciting.
That's a pretty good day tomorrow.
And since tomorrow, we do have to tease one person. Keith Jardine, since his birthday.
Oh, it is his birthday.
And nobody in the gym knows it. I think we should get him a cake or something.
I'll do something. I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna come down early. I don't want to miss any of that. I don't. Well, I appreciate your time, dude. I don't want to take up any more of it, but I appreciate you sitting, and I'll see you in the morning.
Oh,
and
no
where
problem.
do we find all things John Dodson?
Well, if you guys want to go hunt for me, you guys can always go look on Instagram for John Dodson MMA, or Twitter. You can sit there and look up John Dodson MMA.
That's John with an H.
Mm-hmm, with an H. I'm actually one of those weird ones that have a silent letter in it.
I like that. That's normal. That's old school for me.
Yeah, like
it gets
it's like
me,
knife.
I feel like it's weird when it's Jon. I'm like, feels like you're lazy or sloppy leaving stuff out or something.
That's what. See, I always thought that it was JOHN. Then when everyone kept on telling me that JON was a correct way, I was like, no, because you don't spell Jonathan with a J.
I'd never heard that. I would argue to death that.
Oh, dude,
like you are out of your mind.
That's what I always tell people.
There's no way. Mm-hmm. What about a website? Anything like that?
Oh, I don't have a website, but if you guys want to go check me out on Facebook, I do run all my social media. So John Dodson, John the Magician Dodson. I answer everybody's questions, and if you send me a message, I always reply back to them.
What if they're mean to you? Blocked them right away.
No, actually, I will reply back to them.
I do that too. I reply back, and then people are like, "Why are you arguing with these people on the internet?" I'm like, "They were mean to my friend."
Oh, I'm not talking about. I don't sit there and argue with them. I actually tell them nice things.
Really?
Yeah, kill them with kindness.
What I do usually,
they're like, "You're such a douche." I was like, "Oh, thank you for all that."
If they're private emails, because none of those guys can spell correctly nor use any kind of punctuation, and so I'll correct it like an English teacher, and I'll send them the exact same email back, and then they'll send me another mean one, and then I'll correct that one, and usually they just get tired of it. But never do they thank me for helping them. which is like just because somebody paid attention in school at some point, wanted to be taken seriously when they did any kind of literary exchange. Clearly, you don't. So,
like when you go on your rant, realize that I'm going to correct it, and if you do not appreciate it, at least have the decency to sit there and repost what I just posted.
Tell me how many people that have said mean things on the internet to you have you met in real life?
Oh, I've never met any of them.
You don't know that. That's what I say too. And all I say to any of those people is like, all you guys ever say in person is, "Can I get a picture?"
That is true.
It's so
true.
great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same guys.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I mean, it's a trip to think about. Haters don't exist in real life. They're just
Actually,
spectators on the internet.
So funny thing is, I saw some dude run up to Demetrius Johnson and be like, "Hey, John Dodson's gonna kick the crap out of you, but can I get a picture?"
That is so crazy.
And I laughed so hard because I watched it happen, and I saw Demetrius go, "Yes," and turn around and
What
just
a
took a picture.
gentleman.
And I was like, "Wow, he did like the most PC thing ever." And I like when people call me the wrong name, I just keep on walking
Yeah.
away like I don't hear them.
Yeah, exactly. It's that closing your ears off thing, and I'm like, but I hate that because then that gets me into a place where it's like, I want to be at communion with all my people around me, like they're all family, and I don't want to be dodging any. So it's like there's that weird thing, but God, some days it's just like I'm just gonna go and watch TV in the hotel. I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
There's
There's all
that's
those
a trip.
days.
That's funny about Demetrius. That's funny. Why would you say that? Why would you run up and say that?
I'm like,
All I care about in fights anymore, really, bro, when I look at it, I go, I just don't want anybody to get hurt.
yeah.
That's the thing. I don't care who it is. People are like, who you got in this? I'm like, I don't have a safety first. Like if it's my friend that's going to fight, of course I want them to win. I want the best things to happen for them. But I don't want anybody to get hurt. I
See,
don't.
look at you talking about me being into that fatherhood. You're like trying to be the father
Dude.
to everyone else.
So it's like,
Are you sure you don't have any
that's
kids
real.
right now?
That's real. Oh man, yeah, that thing is like, especially because you think about the lengthening of careers, and you're one injury away from it's like, well, maybe you miss your next fight, or maybe you miss, and that slows your momentum and all that. It's like it really becomes the main thing. Even if I don't like the dude, I don't want him to get hurt. That's huge, man. And what a beautiful way to live. People always say like, well, how could you do that? What a rough way to make a living or whatever. I know you don't really think that way. Like, what do you tell people when they say that to you? They got to say that all the time.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, aren't you worried about your future?" And I was like, "What's wrong with my future?" They're like, "Aren't you worried about not being able to hold your baby?" And I was like, "What do you mean by that?"
And at that point, you take your shirt off and you're like, are you looking at this right now?
No, because like in my head, I'm thinking, you realize mixed martial arts is actually safer than cheerleading, right? Those people who cheerlead are in more danger than what we are because we are doing something that's in a controlled environment. They're like, well, football players, like, you guys haven't seen the most recent brain studies, right? MMA fighters are the ones that have the highest rating of memory, thought process, and speech.
But that's all new too.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of like with football players. We have the history to look at. We have decades of data, right? Whereas right now, this is a brand new thing.
It's a brand new thing, but they actually started doing it for the past 7 years now.
Uh-huh.
So they started getting data little by little, seeing how far people's progression has gotten, and now they're doing it with comparison as since this is a combat sport. How bad is it compared to boxing? We're actually seeing the levels of how much multiple contusions to the head.
I would say that it's way safer than boxing. I always say that because, and I tell people to compare it to like, because it's not the fights, it's the sparring for sure.
Oh yeah.
And but I would say compare getting hit with 16-ounce gloves and then MMA gloves, and the comparison is you're standing with your back to me and I have a basketball and I bounce it off the back of your head and your head takes a big head nod, right?
Yeah.
Or a baseball and I throw it at the back of your head and it goes, and it's nothing. It's like it's the concussion that rattles your brain, and so those big boxing gloves are really what makes your brain accelerate at a rate where it can snap through that stuff and it changes things in there. But none of that stuff's probably very good for you.
A head-to-head is.
I never heard about that safer than cheerleading.
Oh, you never heard that?
Uh-uh.
I was because that's how I talked my mom into it. By the way,
Is that right?
Yeah.
I feel like you might have lied to your mom.
No, because actually it is. Because you think about it, there's so much going into knowing what a fight's gonna be.
Just because there's more girls that are into fighters doesn't make it safer than cheerleading.
No, because it's like being
Maybe
a part.
cheerleader guys get girls though. I don't know.
Yeah, but they're already branded as them being gay.
Could be.
Because they're like,
be.
oh, you're a male cheerleader. You have to be gay.
Those guys are gymnastics as anything though.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be, with all respect, you'd be a good male cheerleader.
See, I wanted to be one for UNM because they were actually going to give a scholarship. And I was like, oh yeah, I could do
Light
it.
and strong. I could just see you flipping off of like 4 people.
They wanted me to try to be a bass.
Do you know what I saw? Oh, I bet you'd be a good bass too.
I'm not as tall as those dudes. I wouldn't be able to hold those girls up as high.
You just get a taller girl, so they even out at the top.
Yeah, but that means she has to weigh more.
So check this out. This made me think of you too. I was filming this thing in Columbia last year. And we pull up at the stoplight. It just made me think homeless people got to up their game. They got to just make it better in America because all they do is come out. Hey, can I get? No, you can't have anything. Come at me with something. A little happiness. Anything. Anything is better than looking like you're crippled. In Bogota, these guys come up. We stop at a stoplight, and one guy goes over by. He's like at a street light, and he squats down. Not on a knee, but just on both his feet, squatted down. Another guy jumps on his shoulders, balances on the streetlight. A third guy goes up, balances on his shoulders, goes up. Another guy goes up. So they're 4 deep. And then they all stand up, and so they're standing on each other's shoulders. It's raining a little, so the feet are kind of slippery, no shirts on. He walks over right in front of our car. Another guy has torches, lights them on fire, and they pass the batons up. And so they're all juggling batons in time while this light is still red, and they pop off. Watch them pop off flawlessly, and then the guy goes around with a basket and gets money from cars. And I was like, homeless people in America don't have a chance. You guys are starved to death.
Shoot,
that was awesome.
Yeah,
it was incredible. And I was like, Little John could do that for sure. That could be all his stuff right there.
Like, there's one dude actually out here who does flips for money.
Really?
He's a homeless dude who does flips for money.
God, that's good. I would want to know that he was super athletic though, because I don't want to see him get hurt either. Because if I give a guy $5 to do a flip for me and he breaks his head, now I got to put that homeless guy in my car and take him to the hospital. Just I have to.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're out of here. Oh. It's bedtime around the Dodson house.
Oh yeah, we got to put this little man to bed. You want to say hi, Andres?
Hey, hi, Andres.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
Hey, what are you going to be for Halloween tomorrow?
Gio.
You're going to be Gio?
He's going to be Leonardo.
Leonardo.
Yeah. And you know someone on that TV? He works he fights Shredder.
He fights
Shredder.
Shredder. You know, my friend was Shredder. He played Shredder's the rat, right?
Oh no.
Oh, that's Splinter.
Shredder's the bad guy.
Okay. Do you know sometimes when I talk to little kids, it's like I'm listening to somebody that's talking a different language to me? I have to be around you for like 3 days, and then I'll know everything you're saying.
Those are my toys. My toys is doing the Skyman.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I like him. I like the Spider-Man doll you have, too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, just use them.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll see the other one next time.
Next time?
We tell everybody to say, have a nice day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Say, have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Say, we'll talk to you soon.
And talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much. John, thanks so much, brother.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me on.
All right.